I think this is a time to think about these families. I don't think it's a time for politics or political analysis. It's a time to think about families that just lost their father, their husband, their son.
That was New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio last night responding to a question about whether yesterday's murder of 2 NYPD officers will now increase tensions between police and citizens. Our next guest, a former NYPD detective, says it's time for de Blasio to step down. Fox News contributor Dietl, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, first of all, I want my heart goes out to those 2 officers and their families. I was by the tree last night, and the cops are yelling, "Bo, please keep on talking." A lot of people don't understand. I came on the force back in 1970. That was a time we lost 13 cops one year, 11 cops the next year.
Wow.
These were assassinated by the Black Liberation Army and these other stupid groups out there. We would run to the hospital to give blood, but it was too late. We had Piagentini and Jones. We had Foster and Laurie, just to name a few of our officers that were assassinated the same way as these 2 brave officers were last night.
History repeating itself?
Well, the environment that has been brought about by this Mayor Big Bird, and I call him a Big Bird for one reason, not to be funny about it, because he's such an idiot. 18% of the people voted him in. 18% of 1199 union workers, 32 BJ union workers. These are the demonstrators that are allowed to walk our streets, stop our traffic. When you make an environment like that, that's only feeding this fire. On the social media for the last week and a half, they are calling to kill cops. Last weekend, I heard the voices when they were saying, "What do we want? Dead cops. When do we want them now?" And this mayor let that persist. All of a sudden he says, "Oh, let's not talk about politics." He made this environment like this. He's destroying the police department. And let me say, Bill de Blasio, he is a big bird, but we have a police commissioner here that is trying his hardest. But he's being directed by de Blasio. No one should say that Bill Bratton's doing a bad job. He's just being directed by this idiot mayor. And I am really upset and angry. I didn't sleep last night too much thinking about these poor officers and their family. I went through it in the 70s, seeing guys die like that. And you know what? I'm calling out right now. He went to Cuba when he wasn't supposed to in 1994 with his wife. He should go back to Cuba and live in Cuba because New York doesn't want him. And New York's a great city. We have a great police department, a great commissioner. Time is now for New York to speak. I am really upset about this.
So how do you, since you've been there in a situation like this, let's say you are a current New York City police officer, how are you feeling now about just going to work every day?
I talk to him every time I'm on the street. I hug cops out there. Mayor Giuliani, our great mayor who just spoke, was so dead on when the 92% of black-on-black crime, the 1%. When you get an idiot mayor, and I'm using these vernaculars because I'm not afraid. When you get a mayor that says, "I have to worry about my son against policemen," no, you have to worry about your son walking through black communities where crime is prevalent. That's what you have to worry about, Mr. Big Bird Mayor. Build another higher wall so maybe you could smoke some pot in your backyard.
All right, so, Bo, how do we move forward as a city, as a country, as a nation? When you see the video of the cops turning their backs on the mayor, it's apparent, it's obvious that they feel like he's turned his back on them, and so they're doing that in reverse. Where do we go from here? How do you improve the relationship?
Well, the way you improve the relationship is get rid of this mayor. You got to understand his ideal, his mind. His mindset is he doesn't understand about coexistence. He doesn't understand about the hard guy that goes to work in the morning at 6 o'clock and then gets in his car at 5:30 to go home and have his dinner and has to wait in traffic for 2.5 hours for these protesters where they shut down bridges.
Well, if he doesn't step down, if we don't get rid of him, how do we move forward? Because he's saying, don't focus on the politics. Let's focus on how we move forward and these officers and their families.
My problem is when they have a mentality the way he has grown up with this libertation mentality, I don't know if you're ever going to be able to have him conform. And let's face it, who runs this city? All the unions. And it's just funny that the protesters, this mayor was only voted by 18% of the voters in there. And all those 18%, all those votes were pulled out by 1199, 32 BJ. These are the people that voted him. The people of New York City, the blacks, Hispanics, the Asians, everyone should speak up. We should put some sort of referendum. I checked out. I was kidding halfway about running for mayor, but I'm not kidding anymore. I wanted to find out there's no recall in New York State, but there has to be something that we can do, and I call upon New York State and our governor. We have a problem in New York City. Governor Cuomo, please take charge of this moron that's running New York City. I don't want to see another dead cop. And what worries me is it becomes a system, like when we used to have the chain snatch. All of a sudden, people started grabbing chains off people's necks. Right now, this is like a cool thing. Go kill a cop. So you got a guy who just shot his girlfriend, thinks he's killed his girlfriend. Now he has nothing to lose. You have other gang members out there milling in their mind. Let me be super cool. Let me whack a couple of cops. Every cop has to look over their shoulder now and worry. And I worry for these cops, man. I feel so much, and I'm sorry for being so emotional, but someone has to speak out. This May goes on and says it's not political. Damn right it's political. You put the environment the way it is, and these poor cops are out there. And my poor police commissioner, he's such a wonderful guy.